we're going to move into bringing in a floor plan, but tidying it up on this general arrangement floor plan. So it is an AO size sheet. For the floor plans, we can see the ones we want to bring in. I'm going to use this one here to bring across. We can, oh, it's already on another sheet. Let me just go to this one, and this one will come down to be an elevation sheet or something later on. So here, drag that floor plan in. And it's thinking, okay, here it is. That floor plan at the moment, I think, what do we got, 1 to 100. Now I want to scale it up, so I can actually double click on it and it opens up that floor plan, and I can change that scale to 1 to 50. And this will now adjust. I can then deactivate the view and then just bring that into the center of the page as needed. A few things I'm going to do here. I'm going to go to that ground floor and ground floor title with no line, or you could have just no title because it's only one drawing on the sheet, so you could just have that. Here we've also got possibly, depending on what you've got settings, you could have the crop views and stuff displaying. There's also annotation crop and crop view. So I'll turn that on, and I'll turn that on, and I'll turn this last one on, and you'll start to see what these items are. So what I can do is I can grab these, and they're a little hard to see here, and I could bring that in. So maybe I want to crop it right down to here. You'll notice in a second there's 2 lines. So I'm going to do the first one. I'm going to bring it back to here, and just get right into the parts of the building that are needed on the perimeter. But then there's another tool which will work with the annotation elements in the model here. So as I go in and I want to show more of the annotation, I can pull this one out. Just see if I grab the wrong one there. There we go, and now we can see the annotation starting to display. So we're sort of cropping it in 2 ways here. Other things that I like to do, now you could have the crop region visible or invisible. So I'll just make it invisible at the moment, but it's still doing the annotation crop. We can control a lot of the way everything displays here as well. So there's a couple of things we can do to control what's displaying. You've got the option to modify it directly within the view. You can go to your graphic display options, you can select items and hide them and all sorts of stuff. But the view template is probably the most popular way to do it. The other one you got is visibility graphics. So this just allows you to turn on and off different things. But the view template is probably the most powerful one here. So down the bottom is your view template, and I'll just start with the ones that are built into the program. So there's the architectural plan, and I'll go apply, and this is going to change my design based on what these settings are. If I want to run it back to 150 and go apply, that will now scale up a little bit. Now depending at 1 to 50 or 1 to 20, what do you want to show within the model? Do you want to show it as being a coarse level display, or medium, or do you want to show everything as being fine? I'll just keep it on fine for the time being. Actually, maybe I'll just keep it, I'll keep it on fine. I prefer to keep things on fine. Then you've got parts visibility. If you've broken up your walls and bits and pieces, you can do that. I'll just show both for now. Then you've got visibility graphics overrides. So things you can start to do here, should you want to. Maybe you want to make all the dimensions a certain color, and this could just be this particular drawing. So here you've got all your annotation information, and here's your dimensions. So what you could do is you could potentially adjust some of this. So you could either do it here, you could do it here, or you could do it in object styles. So this will start to halftone the dimensions should you want to. The other one is object styles, which will overwrite all the dimensions. So a bit of a back to front way of doing this. But here is the annotation, and we want to go to our dimensioning, which might not be driven from here. Actually, I've probably done this completely the wrong way. Let me just go OK, and then select that dimensioning. You can start to modify from here. Sorry, that's a different exception, and you can duplicate those families and everything. So just very quickly, I want my dimension lines again. I'll make those ones blue, and I just like blue. I know maybe it won't photocopy the best. This is I'm going to duplicate it and call it 2.5, and then blue. So CP, go OK, and then change the Arial. So where is it? Arial. Change the text from Arial text font to SCP, and bold again, and I'll just leave everything on a standard and go OK, and that's adjusted that one there. In fact, that one. There we go. So yeah, those have sort of given us that sort of look and feel for that, being driven actually by the dimension style. Back to view templates. So we've got our architectural plan. Other things that you can override. So what's displayed. Then when you expand on some of these, you can start to look at items for the line. So if we look at furniture and furniture systems, let's say we want to make all our furniture red. So I'll just go and override it with a bright red color. You can do weight of that as well. Patterns, transparency. You can half tone it. The detail levels can be by view, coarse, medium, or fine. So we'll just go apply, go OK, apply. And you can see some of my furniture that I built earlier is now going red, but not the casework because that's a different category. Overrides and annotation. So same sort of thing, you can go through and adjust all of this. Grids, for example, can be made maybe halftone. Some will give you options to do overrides here. You can see here the grid option is grayed out because you need to go to object styles, or you need to go to the family. Generic annotations. So I don't know if I've got too many in this model, but I'll just make them green. Okay. So all of this you can go through. If you're linking in files, you're filtering, you've got your model display here. You can customize all of this. Sketchy lines of exposure, overlay, view range. This is all driving that for a typical plan. So that's kind of a nice thing to have here. And then you can use that again and again on other views you create. So I'll go apply, and we'll zoom out a little bit. And here's the floor plan that I'm kind of wanting to display here. And of course I can move all this stuff around. Of course, if the text isn't readable, you can go and duplicate that and make it bigger. We'll go and use another one that's in the project. And also, with these window tags, depending on whether you want to get into this right now, I mean that's more at the construction drawing end. You can go and edit that particular tag. You can go and edit the family, and then inside the family you can scale all this up. I think the text for that is like 3 mils. So or you could have other families, multiple types of families, where you can flick into different sort of window heads and stuff like that there. So just to finish up the last few little bits and pieces. Other things we might want to do within this view template. So we've got our grid here and dimensioning. We want to sort of get these dimensions sort of looking correct all around the model. So very quickly we can repeat that command, and we could go entire walls, wall faces, and you can start to grab these lines because I got the annotation crop in there. You see that's all showing up, and that one's going to show a bit more of the entire walls or individual references. Finish up there. And maybe one last little thing maybe you might want to show, just to sort of give the floor plan a bit of 3D depth. Under that architectural plan view template, I might want to go to the shadows here and turn on ambient shadows. Okay, I want to see how that's looking. Apply. Not quite liking it. Let's see. Let's go car shadows, apply. There we go. So maybe the car shadows and the application, that looks a little better. And if you're feeling it's a bit too much, you can see here these are grayed out. You've got to go through these via these sections here. So we have to go to lighting, and then we'll have the option here. So drop the shadows back a little bit and go apply. And that will just give you a nicer sort of graphic there, and you can turn on ambient light bits and pieces. So yeah, just deactivate that view, and this is our ground floor view, floor plan view. You can print this out at an A0 sheet or A3 sheet. Just with this is kind of enough to print it out and start sketching over the top in front of a client, or marking it up, having your notes on the side here. So that was the just adjustment of the floor plan, just doing some view template settings on our title block here.